Before we talked about quadratic factorization, let's look at what it means. All right, so we start with expanding two brackets. So you know how to expand, right? With x times x being x squared, x times 3x. X times 3 is 3x. And then we have 2 times x and 2 times 3. And then we will add the 2x and 3x, so it's 5x plus 6. So this process is known as expanding, right, or expansion. What we want to do today is to do the opposite. We want to go from this back to two brackets. That's known as factorization. It's quadratic because of the x squared. Whenever you have x squared, it's usually called quadratic. Now the key of doing quadratic factorization would be the fact that 6 come from this number times this number, while 5 really comes from this number plus this number. That would be the key. So let's say we try x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now you may think this is really easy because, as I said, the last number should be the two number multiplied together, while the middle number is the two number added together. Okay. So you probably already noticed the answer is 4 and 2, simply because 4 times 2 would be 8, while 4 plus 2 is 6. Now this guessing way is good and it can work, but the more systematic method is called cross method. And it would be nice if I introduce that method right now. Okay, in cross method, you would think what times what gives you 8. Okay, so obviously one of the choice will be 4 and 2, and then another choice is actually 1 and 8. And then similarly, you want to think what times what gives you x squared. Okay, turn out it's just x times x. And then we'll try to cross. So we'll cross. When we cross, we multiply. So we have 4 times x, so that's 4x. And then we have x times 2, and that's 2x. And then what you want to do is you want to see if by adding these two things, you can create this middle term. You can create 6x. And yes, we can this time. If we just add it, you already get 6x. That would mean this pair is the correct factorization. Okay? Now technically, when we write the bracket, we write horizontally. So that's why we have x plus 4, and then we have x plus 2. Okay, at this stage, you may think this is completely pointless, but it's actually good that we have a systematic method, because later on, when the factorization gets harder and harder, this could become useful. Now let's try another one. Maybe this. So notice this time there are some negatives, so they can make things harder. So you can still use the guessing way. What times what would give you 15, while adding to give -2. But I really encourage you to try the cross method. Okay, you can pause the video and try right now. Otherwise, answer will be coming. 3, 2, 1. So let's say we do cross method. So again, we have x times x giving us x squared. And then 15. Usually when I do it, when I list out all the factors, I'll ignore the negative. We'll deal with the negative a little bit later. So 15 could be 3 times 5 or 1 times 15. Then we cross. 3 times x is 3x. X times 5 is 5x. Okay, the question is, can I use these two numbers to create the middle term, -2x? The turn out the answer is yes. Turn out it is possible to make use of minus a little bit. So we can have 3x minus 5x, and that gives us negative 2x. The reason we can do that is because of this negative. We have a negative 15, so we can give a negative to 5, because after all, we need 3 multiplied to negative 5 to give negative 15. Alright, so we know either 3 is negative or 5 is negative in this case. Okay. And turn out if we make 5 negative, that will work out perfectly, because 3x minus 5x is negative 2x, which is what we want. That would mean we found our pair, and we write the answer horizontally. So the answer is x plus 3, x minus 5. Let's try more. Give it a try. Answer we coming 3, 2, 1. So x squared is xx. 12 could be 3, 4, or 6, 2, or 1, 12. Okay, so let's try. If I try the first cross, I have 3x and 4x. I don't think that can give us 4x. That would mean this pair is wrong. Okay, so ignore that. Then we'll try the next pair, which is 6x and 2x. So 6x, x times 2 is 2x. Can I give 4x? Yes, we can do 6x minus 2x, which would mean I need a minus for the 2, which makes sense because I have negative 12, so one of them have to be negative. So that will be the pair that we are looking for. So it's x plus 6 and x minus 2. Okay. Let's try one more to look at the last case. Here we have x squared minus 10x plus 9. Okay, give this a try. And so becoming 3, 2, 1. So with xx for x squared, 9 could be 3 times 3 or 9 times 1. Or if we cross that, 3x times x is 3x, 3 times x is 3x, x times 3 is also 3x. I don't think they can give us 10x, so let's not do that. Do the other pair. As a matter of fact, you can do this crossing process just in your mind. You don't have to write it out because it's quite possible that you can process this without writing it out. And then this, so 9 times x is 9x, x times 1 is x. Can that make negative 10x? Now turn out the answer is yes, because we can give a negative to both of them. But you might wonder, why can we do negative for both of them? Well, because we can give a negative to both the 9 and the 1. And if you have negative 9 times negative 1, it happens to be positive 9. Okay? So if this is positive, there are two options. Either both numbers are positive, or actually it could be that both of them are negative. Okay, so both are possible. And now this is exactly what we want. So the answer would be x minus 9, x minus 1. Okay, so that's the basic case. Maybe when you do all these cases, you don't even need to do cross method. You can just guess the answer. But now things would get harder. Let's try 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. So notice this time, 12, I want 12. Notice this time we have a number in front of the x squared. Okay? So it makes it a lot harder to just guess. So we'll do cross method. So now you need to think what times what would give you 2x squared. So the answer is probably 2x times x. And then you want to think what times what give you 12. So the answer should be 3, 4, 2, 6, 1, 12. Now here's the hard part when there's a number in front. Turn out now, instead of just writing 3, 4, you have to swap it and write the other option. Okay, the reason being, since this is different, this is 2x and x, they're not both x anymore. If you cross that with 3 and 4, it will be different from crossing it with 4 and 3. Right, you get slightly different stuff. And this is also where it will be really helpful if you can just try the pairs in your mind, without writing it out. So let's try the first pair. So we have 3 times x, that's 3x. 2x times 4, that's 8x. Well, if you add them up, it will be 11. Well, so that's the correct one. Right, so we instantly know that's the correct one. So the answer is 2x plus 3, x plus 4. Okay? But imagine maybe the correct pair is actually like maybe the fourth pair. Then if you keep writing it out, it'll be quite messy, right? You end up writing a lot. So it'll be very nice if you can keep practicing until you can just try the pairs in your mind until you find the correct pair. Let's try another example. This one. So think about how do you get 6. We can have 6x times 6 or 3x times 2x. And then for the 3, it's probably 3, 1 or 1, 3. We can swap the order. Then we'll try the pairs one by one, see if we can get -7. So maybe 6x times 1, 6x, then 3 times x, 3x. No, that cannot give 7. Then maybe we can do 3x times 1, that's 3x. And 3 times 2, that's 6. 6 and 3, no. And the next maybe 3x times 3, that's 9. 1 times 2x, that's 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay, so that should work. So 3 times 3x, 9x. 1 times 2x, 2x. We want -7, so we need a -9x. That means we need a -3. Right, because the 9x come from 3 times 3, so we want a -3 to create -9x, which is good because we did have -3. 1 times -3 is -3. So that will be it, the answer. Again, we write horizontally. That's why it matters that you need to write horizontally, because when there's a number in front, it is different. So it's 3x plus 1, 2x minus 3. Now, so that would basically be the method. However, a lot more practice is probably necessary for you to be good at this, be like fast enough that you can do it readily in an exam. So if you want to have some appropriate practice on this, join my membership to find practice of different levels that I select from different books to help you practice.